Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Saturday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson, and let's go and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We have some stuff to talk about tonight, obviously, with our ongoing kind of cooler in terms of heat index values being like into the 105, 110 degree range in terms of temperatures. We're also going to talk about potential flooding for the future as well, just with these thunderstorms that come through as well. And then we're also going to just talk about a cold front that will be approaching late Tuesday and Wednesday, and then how it's going to be slightly cooler as we get into like the midweek as well next midweek. But first, before we get into all that, let's go on and first say if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. Hit the share button as well, and also with all the people that you know, so that we can go on and get to 600 subscribers. That is our goal. We're at 514. We need 86 more people. Yes, 86 more people until we go on and get to our goal of 600 subscribers. So we are getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. Let's go on and talk with the recorded audience for the people who can unfortunately not make it to the live stream tonight. Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Saturday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. First off, talking about the radar and what's going on right now throughout the state. We do have some thunderstorm activity going on up here in the upstate from places like York, all the way down towards Union and Lawrence, South Carolina. Some rainfall going on in Saluda, also over here in Boykin, South Carolina as well. If you go into like your lightning probability, this is just pretty much if lightning is occurring or not. And you can see up here that we are definitely receiving a thunderstorm over here near Hickory Grove, Sharon, York, Lockhart, Bullock Creek, inside of South Carolina as well. So there's this shower and downpour activity of this green, red, yellow, orange that you see on the map right here. This is definitely producing some thunder um, over in these regions. Now, if we go in and look at what's going on throughout the entire United States, we do have some rainfall activity going on from New York as well as Pennsylvania, going to Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Arkansas, as well as Missouri, going into Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida as well. There are some thunderstorms in here as well where you see like the little dots at. There are some thunderstorms going on with some of these as well going on near Georgia. We have damage reports near Georgia and Sugar Hill, Georgia. A trampoline report of a tree and a fence down and a trampoline lifted inside of Georgia. That's just to the east of Atlanta. If you go into like other places as well, like up here inside of Minnesota, they had tornadoes up there. South Dakota had a tornado as well, or a track from South Dakota all the way through towards Minnesota. Then some more just damage going on in Nebraska, going inside of Kansas, Texas, receiving some rainfall going into New Mexico and pretty much the Four Corners region in Nevada as well. So a lot going on. It's very active right now throughout the U.S. If we go into our cloud cover, we do have some scattered cloud cover right now. It's kind of in its little low, kind of like circulating pattern as the low pressure is right next to us. And you can kind of see how it kind of rotates when we get towards like the cloud cover for the future. But right now, just scattered cloud cover right now, especially where those showers and storms already are inside the state. Looking at cloud cover for the future, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. When I push this forward, you can see that that cloud cover is kind of making a little bit of a circular motion. But by the time we get to tomorrow, though, especially tomorrow afternoon, it's going to clear up a lot. And even by the time we get to around tomorrow evening, a lot of us could be clear by tomorrow evening. So that is a good thing to look forward to. As we go into our current temperatures right now, 83 in Columbia as well as 81 in Orangeburg and Somerville, 82 in Sumter, 82 in Florence as well as 83 in Hartsville, 82 in Bennettsville, 80 in Conway as well as 80 in Myrtle Beach, 80 in Myrtle's Inlet as well as 80 in Georgetown, 79 in Myrtle Beach as well as 81 in Aiken, 81 in Orangeburg as well as 81 in Charleston, and also, as we move up here towards the upstate, 78 in Clemson and Greenville, 77 in Spartanburg and Gaffney, and 79 in Lancaster. Going to your low temperatures for tonight, 70 in Greenville and Spartanburg, as well as 70 in Anderson, 70 in Greenwood, 70 in Rock Hill, as well as 73 in Columbia, in Orangeburg, 71 in Aiken and Walterboro, 76 in Charleston, 75 in Hilton Head Island, and 72 in Georgetown, 76 in Myrtle Beach. Going into your rain index, or I should honestly say your forecasted precipitation, hundredths of an inch to a tenth of an inch for a good amount of us from Rock Hill, maybe even Greenville, Anderson, Lawrence, Greenwood, Newbury, Camden, Columbia, Orangeburg, Barnwell, and Moncks Corner. Hilton Head Island is included in there. Georgetown is included in there. Then maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch for places like Winnsboro and Dillon. And those two are really the only places that I can see. Oh, and Spartanburg as well. It's also in there as well in that tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch. Maybe somebody can maybe receive a quarter of an inch to a half an inch in terms of rainfall. Going into severe weather, there was a marginal risk of severe weather up there for Greenville, Spartanburg, but that has since been allowed to expire. And now it is just a regular thunderstorm risk for the entire state of South Carolina, as there still are obviously thunderstorms going on throughout the state, especially in the upstate. So that marginal risk is gone, though. Same thing tomorrow, Sunday, June the 29th. The entire state has a chance for a thunderstorm. Monday, same thing as well. The entire state has a chance for a thunderstorm. Again, these storms could have gusty winds of up to 40 miles per hour and maybe even some small hail with them as well. Let's go on now and look at our excessive rainfall outlook, because this is something that I do want to kind of touch up on a little bit. You can see here that we are inside of a margin risk of excessive rainfall for tonight. This most likely will be allowed to go away by the time we get to later tonight, but this minor risk is here. Goes from Rock Hill, Spartanburg, Greer, Greenville, Anderson, and Greenwood, but it does not just end there. Tomorrow, another marginal risk of excessive rainfall for Spartanburg, Boiling Springs, going into Travelers Rest, Greenville, Powdersville, Liberty, Clemson, Anderson, Walhalla, as well as also included in there. And if you go into day 3, Monday, there is a minor risk of some flooding again, but it's, just for some very isolated portions up there in the upstate of South Carolina, right there on the border of North Carolina and Georgia. If you go into day 4, Tuesday again, this entire upstate region is covered with a minor risk of flooding. Even the northern Midlands as well has a chance for some minor flooding as well. And then they kind of just shift pretty much to the other side from like all the way from Newbury and Chester and Lancaster and Saluda and Edgefield all the way towards the coast pretty much. So the entire Low Country, the entire PD, the entire Grand Strand, pretty much all the Midlands as well, are inside of a minor risk of flooding for next week, Wednesday. So we just have a heavy amount of minor flooding that could be occurring with us as we go into next week, and that is definitely expected as some of these thunderstorms become more stagnant. And we'll talk more about that as we get into like the future. Let's go on now and look at the models. So we're going to start here. You see the times in the top right corner of your screen. Let's go on and show what the models have to say. So obviously this is going on at 9 p.m. Pretty much this is what's going on. There are a couple of discrepancies and a couple of just isolated stuff that's out of place, but overall it's pretty tame and pretty accurate. As you go into around 2 to 3 a.m. though, that's when all of those showers and thunderstorms will kind of move away. As you get to around 1 p.m. though, 1 p.m. you can start to see some more showers and thunderstorm activity approach from the sea breeze out there and start to move their way inland into like coastal Charleston County, for example, by 1 p.m. But by pretty much the morning hours for tomorrow, from 7 a.m. probably all the way through to around 1 p.m., it's going to be dry throughout the state. As we go even further, though, you can see that by the time we get to around that 2 to 3 o'clock time frame, you can start to see that's when those showers and thunderstorms will start to take place. It happens every single day. 2 to 3 p.m. is when you start to see those shower and thunderstorm activities. And that will occur, again, pretty much for the entire state. Everyone needs to be watching for that. Even by around 6, 7, 8 p.m., they are still going on by 12 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning, still going on. And so definitely watch for that still. And then as you get to Monday morning, again, just looking pretty swell overall. And then by the time you get to around 1 to 2 p.m., that's when things will start to change in terms of more active activity for showers and thunderstorms. So pretty much the same pattern over and over and over and over again for a lot of us. If we go into the long-term future, starting off here at 2 p.m., where we just ended off at, as we go on and push this forward, you can see that this rainfall will pretty much go on through July the 2nd, July the 3rd, going through July the 4th and the 5th as well. And overall, you just start to see some spotty activity as you go through around July the 7th. Now, I see something interesting going on over here towards Louisiana. You can't see it, but it shows a pretty strong storm going on over there towards Louisiana. Now, again, this is 200 hours out. I can't move it. Let me see if I can move it. It's still 200 hours out, so that's why for sure I can't, we can't really say if that's going to happen or not. But what I will say is that is most likely not going to happen. Again, that's all the way towards July the 7th. That's more than a week out. And anything past 10 days, you can pretty much just throw inside the trash. And that's around 9 to 10 days out. So, if you count today. So, that's pretty much is trash right now. But there is this model right here catching on. This one, usually it's when it's off its rockers the most, though. As you continue this forward, though, even more, just more rainfall activity for South Carolina. Again, nothing really big in terms of, big storm activity. Just really just seems to be just regular shower and thunderstorms. July the 11th, though, once we get to that date, though, we can't really go any further than that for sure. But I do want to talk about first the cold front that's going to be pushing in as we go into, obviously, next week, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere around that date. So here are the anomalies right here. Obviously, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that is the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd. And you can see, this is July the 1st right here. And you can see that cold air really starts to take shape July the 2nd, and even for July the 3rd. But once you get right back into July the 4th, it's not going to last long. So we'll have a little bit of a cool down. It's not going to be that much. Like, for example, our temperatures on July the 2nd could potentially be in the 70s, the low 80s, maybe, but some people will still be inside the high 80s. So it won't be really as hot. Again, that's July like the 2nd, so that's the 1st and the 2nd, so that's like Wednesday. And also there's going to be a lot of rainfall as well. If you go in and look at it, rainfall could also be aiding why it's a lot more cooler than average. But if we go into temperature anomalies and move them forward even more, that warm temperatures are just going to come right back as we get to around July the 4th. And once we get past July the 4th, it's pretty much going to stay warm from pretty much that day all the way to around July the 9th. And I can say that a good amount of us are actually going to be cooler than average. If you look all the way over here, not only for South Carolina, but for Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, it's going to be below average in terms of temperatures for a lot of us. And, some of these temperatures could be down in the 70s for some of us, maybe even the high 60s. So, definitely a cool down that a lot of these regions definitely want, if you don't like the hot temperatures, obviously. But, just continuing that forward some more, you can see the hot temperatures really just starting to build right back up, and it's not, and then this is around like July the 14th, again, way too far out, but it just shows temperatures are on the way back. And one thing I also do want to show as well, if you go up to here, you can kind of see, actually, I don't know if this is the right model for that, but if you just look at the steering winds, for example, you see how it's like very kind of calm as you get towards like these regions. Like, you can see it's kind of moving a little bit, but it is calm. That's going to cause our rainfall and thunderstorm activity to remain a little bit more stagnated than normal. And so that will obviously bring us our minor flooding chance for what I was just talking about earlier. So that's why we have those minor risk or those marginal risk of excessive rainfall up. Let me see if I can pull it back up right here. Especially over here, this right here, again, this is for day 5, Wednesday, for a lot of us, like Columbia, Sumter, Florence, all the way down to Charleston and Orangeburg and Myrtle Beach and Conway and all these places. So that's one of the regions why, but just in terms of just there's not really too much motion pushing these storms, and so that's why they're going to remain stagnant and cause just minor flooding in general, because they're going to be over the same areas for a long period of time. So that's it in terms of our excessive rainfall. Let's go on and look at the tropics. Surprise, surprise, look at this. Tropical depression number 2 has formed with 30-mile-per-hour winds with it. This will become Tropical Storm Barry. It says tropical storm conditions are expected on Sunday for portions of the Gulf Coast of Mexico, where a tropical storm warning is in effect. Heavy rainfall associated with Tropical Depression 2 will impact portions of northeastern Mexico. This rainfall may produce isolated flash and urban flooding. So, they definitely have to watch for that over there. It's going to become a tropical storm probably by sometime tonight. So, that will become the second tropical storm, the second named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. Chantel, I'm pretty sure, is the next name after Barry. But this will become Tropical Storm Barry, and it will hit Mexico. Looking at the crazy score, we're at a 28 right now inside the mild category. Still slightly breezy or cloudy, but no major concerns. I think really just put an emphasis on the cloudy. Really, that's probably the only reason why we're in that region. Maybe some fog as well, but fog, that's going to be expected pretty much almost every single night. Pretty much in the valleys where rain fell earlier. And overall, it's just going to be a quiet night tonight. Let's go on now and look at the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, my Nana says, hello, Jay. Hello to you. Family is getting on the road back from the funeral to Michigan. What's the weather like from Vicksburg to Ann Arbor? We'll talk about that in just a second. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, JP. Good evening to you. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. And then my Aunt Shirley says, good evening. Hope you had a great day. Got a little rain today and a little cooler. That is great to hear that you guys are getting a little bit of a break if you want the break. And so that's it. So let's go on now. Before we talk about San Antonio, Raleigh, and Philadelphia, let's go on and talk about the location that my Nana shared with me, which is Vicksburg, Mississippi, all the way up towards Ann Arbor, Michigan. So first, it's pretty much going to be most likely a rainy trip back. Like up there, like in Michigan, like it's fine. In Michigan right now, there's nothing really going on. Here's Ann Arbor down there. Nothing going on in really like the northern portions of Indiana and Ohio. But if you start back all the way over here, like in Vicksburg, you're going to take your way up. There's definitely going to be some rainfall and some thunderstorms that they're going to have to go through, for sure. Let me go into like the lightning probabilities. Yeah, you can see for sure. They definitely are going to run into some thunderstorm activity. And if not thunderstorm activity, they're definitely going to run into some rainfall as they go through. And if you continue pushing your way up, going through past, Tennessee or Kentucky, still some rainfall activity going on through there. Indiana, southern Indiana, got some rainfall activity going on there as well. Now, I don't know how fast they're driving or how fast they're going or when they're leaving. But from what I can see right now, they're definitely going to get caught up by some of these showers and thunderstorms that are going across. So it's not going to be completely dry on their way back. But up in Michigan, though, it's fine, though. So that's all there. Let's see what else. Mr. Chris says, hello from Moncks Corner. Hello to you. Had a strong thunderstorm earlier today. I actually did see that. In Moncks Corner, I actually was paying attention to that because I kept on getting alerts on my phone that a thunderstorm was nearby in the Somerville area. So, obviously, pretty close. And it said that it was pretty much right there in Moncks Corner, and I was waiting to see if it would make its way down here, but it never did. It's been dry at my house ever since yesterday. The last time I've even received a drop of rain at my house, let's see, was not today, was not yesterday, was not the 26th. The last time I received rain was the 25th, and that was Wednesday. So that was the last time I saw some rainfall here. Sean says, hi, I heard that Barry is forming inside of the Gulf. Yes, Tropical Storm Barry is about to form tonight. It says that tropical storm conditions are expected on Sunday for a portion of the Gulf Coast of Mexico, where a tropical storm warning is in effect for over there in Mexico as well, and it will go inland, and by the time it gets around 1 p.m. on Monday, it will turn back into a tropical depression. But yes, Barry is forming, and is expected to become a tropical storm tonight. But let's go on now and talk about our 3 locations outside of the U.S., and then we'll get back to the chat just in case we have any more chats or anything like that. So if you still have something to say, you can still say it. I'll go right back to it. But starting off first with San Antonio first, low temperatures tonight 75, high temperatures tomorrow at 93, low temperatures tomorrow night at 75, and there is a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow during the day, but no precipitation expected tonight, and there is a chance for some haze tomorrow night instead of San Antonio, but no precipitation is expected there either. In terms of severe weather, no excessive rainfall is expected there. No severe weather is expected there, and if you go into excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall is there either. Raleigh being the next location, low temperatures tonight 74, high temperatures tomorrow at 95, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 74. There's a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. In terms of severe weather, you do not have any severe weather that is expected. In terms of excessive rainfall, though, you do have a chance for some minor flooding apparently for tonight, even though I think that they're probably expired. I can get that out of there. But the other 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, minor flooding is possible on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Philadelphia being the last location, low temperatures tonight 73, high temperatures tomorrow at 89, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 72. Severe thunderstorms are possible tonight in Philadelphia, as there is damaging winds that are possible over there, 40 to 60 miles per hour but tonight. But other than that, nothing else in terms of severe weather. Excessive rainfall, though, there is a chance maybe tonight, but Philadelphia's kind of out of that just a little bit. Monday, Tuesday, though, minor flooding is possible there too. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S. in terms of just weather news-wise? There will be a daily chance for scattered thunderstorms across portions of the central and eastern U.S. through the weekend, with severe thunderstorms possible in the northern plains and the upper Midwest. Potential severe storm hazards may include large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes. Storms could also produce heavy rainfall that may lead to isolated instances of flash flooding as well. Also, you do have some air quality alerts going on in Pennsylvania and Ohio. Flooding potential going inside of southern Missouri, and then maybe even some heat that could be going on in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho as well, and maybe even some extreme heat in Arizona and Southern California. So that's pretty much it in terms of what's going on throughout the U.S. Let me go on and look at the chat one more time. Where is he going to hit? That is right there on the eastern side of Mexico is where Barry is going to hit. And that's it. I don't see anything else inside of the chat. So, hopefully everyone enjoyed the forecast this evening. If you did, make sure you go and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. We have, right now, we've had 30 people tune in tonight, and we only have 8 likes. If you have not hit the like button, make sure that you go in and do so. It's free. It's easy. The subscribe button is also free as well. You don't have to, pay. You can just go on and make an account if you have no account already, and just hit the subscribe button. And if you want to chat inside the chat, like everyone that you see here on the screen right now, you have to be a subscriber. So I know for a fact all of these people are subscribed to the channel because it's on subscriber only mode, unless something happened. But everyone there should be subscribed. So I thank you all for that. And we don't have anything else really to talk about for tonight. So if that is all, I'll be here for about like another 5 minutes or so just to check out the chat, see what's going on, see if anybody else says anything else, and I'll respond inside the chat to you. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday, and I will be back tomorrow.